Welcome, I'm the Conspiracy Man. In this series, we'll be blowing the lid off many of the world's biggest conspiracies that the man doesn't want you to know about. This week, we'll be looking at murder. Developments in investigative techniques and technology such as DNA testing, CCTV cameras, and atomic spectroscopy have made crime a lot harder to get away with. This also has an impact on espionage. In the old days of the Cold War, you could just assassinate defectors and scientists without getting caught and causing an international incident. But nowadays, it's so much harder. Killing people physically via shootings and stabbings without getting arrested is hard. Even faking accidents or poisoning people is so much harder as well these days. It's not like the good old days where you could give people shoes with a piece of copper wire dipped in a carcinogenic substance to give someone toe cancer, which is what the CIA did to Bob Marley. In 2006, the Russians got in trouble when they were accused of poisoning KGB defector Alexander Litvinenko with the radioactive isotope polonium-210. And just recently, North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un's half-brother was killed at a Malaysian airport after being sprayed with a banned chemical nerve agent. This is fine if you want people to know you did it in order to send a message, but not so good if you want to avoid getting the blame for it. Homeopathy may be the answer. Homeopathy is an alternative medicine that works by the idea that light cures light. Similar to vaccination, but unlike vaccination, this stuff actually works. So for example, if you have a runny nose or watery eyes, you would take a homeopathic remedy made from onion, since onion causes those symptoms. Now that obviously would tend to be a problem. Giving a full undiluted dose of this to someone would exacerbate their symptoms rather than relieve them. So the medicine is diluted. In fact, the more it's diluted, the stronger the medicine gets. One of the standard dilutions is 30C, which is 1 part active ingredient to 100 to the power of 30 parts water, which is the equivalent of 1 molecule to all the atoms in the solar system. So there's basically none of the active ingredient in the medicine you take. But because it's shaken in a special way, it still acts as if it has that ingredient in it. Now armed with this knowledge, let's think about this. Take something like willow tree bark, which is where modern aspirin comes from. Aspirin thins the blood, so if you give it in a homeopathic dose, it will do the opposite and help thicken or clot the blood, which is fine for someone whose blood is too thin. But if given to someone whose blood is too thick or has underlying medical issues such as heart problems, it would kill them. Heck, if you gave an even stronger dose of 100C, i.e. even less aspirin, it could give anyone a heart attack. But it would just appear the victim died of natural causes. This is because no autopsy would ever find any poison in the system, since the way homeopathic medicine works, there's probably none of the original ingredient in the dose to begin with. And it's even better than normal poisons, since they can be put in food with no change in taste. This is terrifying, and it might already be happening. Just last month, the Russian ambassador to the United Nations, Vitaly Cherkin, died of heart failure. A detailed autopsy result is still pending, but I bet you it won't find anything. And it's not just happening in the political sphere. If you look back over the last year, we seem to lose a lot of celebrities. The number of these deaths seems far too high to be coincidental. It's certainly suspicious. Look at the problems with George Michael's autopsy. They struggle to pinpoint a cause of death. Surely homeopathic assassins are to blame. Possibly some kind of intra-governmental conspiracy? Or maybe businesses wanting to use these dead celebrities for advertisements? Or maybe even a result of cheating in some kind of death pool run by billionaires with too much money. Provided I am not homeopathically poisoned by the powers that be, I shall return. In the future, eventually. What deep conspiracy will I be unwrapping like an old Egyptian person? Well, let me just say, let's do the time warp. Again? Scared? You should be.